listening to the Ice Prep Podcast. Here's your hosts, Bryan and Pat.
Welcome, everyone, to Ice Prep Podcast on a fun week where we get to record it on a Wednesday night instead of a Thursday night. Because I have a final on Thursday, so no podcasting for me or hockey of any sort.
Yeah. Speaking of Wednesday, have you watched the Wednesday show?
I have not. My wife binged it, I honestly think, in like a day, if that.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah, she was like, can I watch it if you're around? I was like, yeah, I put my headphones on and I was playing, or I put my earbuds in, I was playing the new Pokemon game on the Switch. I was like, you have fun. The kids are asleep. So, no, to answer your question, long-windedly, I have not seen it yet.
Okay. A lot of Harry Potter vibes. Like, I was watching it and I was just like, this is like the Coles notes of all of Harry Potter. Okay. It was good, though. I enjoyed it.
Hey,
anyways,
that's all you can ask for, right? Is good.
Yeah, and whether or not it was good or not, I was entertained. And that's really what matters. Like, I don't care if something's good. If it's entertaining to me, sweet.
Yeah, I will say this about Netflix. They're good at making entertaining. It may not be the best thing you've ever watched, but you're like, I was entertained.
Yeah. Another one I started and finished really fast was White Lotus. A lot of people were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like that. And
I don't know what that one is.
And then, Zoe and I, we sat down, and then it was just like, oh, okay. And then I think it was like 3 days, and we were caught up on 2 seasons. Yeah, it's wild. It is a show. Like, it's won nominations. Jennifer Coolidge is
probably...
The second that
I looked to see Jennifer Coolidge in it, Aubrey Plaza, the big names. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's probably one of the best. There's a moment in that show that is by far one of the best moments I have ever seen in television with a person firing a gun. I have never laughed so hard.
That is an interesting teaser in a way that I may actually have to go looking for that.
That will literally be the last episode of season 2. So
little bit of ways to go.
Yeah, but anyways, that is unrelated. But yeah, if you like if you like sort of psychological stressful TV, that's a great show. It's fantastic. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. I didn't think I would enjoy it, and boy did I enjoy it.
So it's the perfect show for Leaf fans because their team likes to psychologically torture them,
I guess. But like, are they now? Like, they're winning, and like when they lose games, it's like, oh well, they lost.
Here's the thing, Pat. They've done this exact same thing the last 3 years. They are gaslighting their fan base in the exact same way that they have the last couple of years. Last year, it was in November with Jack Campbell, and they had this impeccable streak. They had the best November ever until the Devils topped it this year. Now the Devils are kind of by the way, ever since I wore my Devils sweater on the podcast and I was proudly drinking from my Devils cup, the Devils have had a losing record.
So it's your fault. Okay,
it is 100% my fault. But yeah, anyway.
That's really good to hear.
Leaf fans, coworkers that are Leaf fans, they're like, I don't want to get happy about this because even they can't help but joke about being like, got to make it out of the first round before any of this matters. Like, they're so apathetic about it now.
Yeah, they are apathetic, and I don't blame them. I mean, when you look at the standings, they're, second place? But also, third placed, but Boston and New Jersey are in the East. So they've got 2 teams in front of them that are from the same division. So it's like, okay, be a little apathetic to what's happening. I get that. I understand the apathy and okay, that's all well and good, but you've got to do something in the playoffs. Colorado had the same thing for not nearly as long, obviously, and I'm not trying to relate it to that, but they get to the first round out, second round, yay, they made it, and they're out. Injury. But I don't know. They've got obviously, I think an okay goalie tandem. They're only 1 and 3 in the league.
I was going to say,
save percentage.
Statistically, right now, the Leafs have the best goalie tandem in the league, which is something that I can't remember saying for quite some time. And it's not like, yeah, the sample size is 9 games. Mind you, they've played, what, 30 on the year. So 9 games for each goalie. That's still a fairly half decent sample size. Um,
Well, and you look at Shalgren, and he didn't play terrible. He's still young. He's still getting his footing in the NHL. So if one of those two goaltenders goes down in the playoffs or just before, your backup is still decently reliable, is I think the best way to explain it.
if your
And that's
backup is
pretty
coming
good.
in and can play 500 hockey for you, that's
Beauty.
more than you can ask for. And right now, that's kind of what they would get with their backup. But it, the Leafs have constantly tried to have a 1A, 2A,
Mm-hmm.
but they play them like 1A, 2B, 1A, 1B, and it just hasn't worked. This year, it seems like they are because Matt Murray seems to struggle when he gets a little bit too much game time, and Samsonov seems to be of that same. So they could run into the Islanders issue though of years past where best 1A, 1B in the league, and then it's, well, who do you go in the playoffs? Because then things start to go bad. Do you go to the other guy because you've always done 1A, 1B, or do you that's putting the uh, cart way before
Cart
the
before the
horse,
horse.
way down the line. But that is the only problem in a 1A, 1B situation. They will get you to the playoffs, but you need one of them to take over. Like, look at who's won the cup the last, you could probably go almost decade. It wasn't 1A, 1B. It is 1A. You never see anybody else.
But Colorado, when Kemper
Well,
took a stick in the eye and then Francouz had to play, I think it was 4 games, he won, I think, two of those, at least two of those games, if not three. So
what I say, backup has to do 500 for you, and luckily it worked out. But yeah, like, and the fact that
I
they swept the
I don't
Oilers
think
didn't
that's
hurt.
I don't think that's a bad problem though to have the 1A 1B as long as they communicate it early. Like if both of them are healthy and you go, "Look guys, we're going to do 1A 1B. We're going to see what's going on and then when it comes to the playoffs, we're going to go with who's hot at that time."
Ride the
The
hot
moment
hand.
one of you slips, you need to understand it's not personal. We want the cup and we cannot lose in the first round. So we've got to go to someone else. To the next person. And if they start to slide, we balance back. It's a conversation that needs to be had and just reinforced of it's not whether or not you're bad or good. It's just this person's killing it or you're starting to slide. So we're bringing in someone else. It's as simple as that. And goalies know that.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing because literally the Islanders were what, twice 1 goal away from making it to the Stanley Cup final in the last couple of years. It's
Mhm.
just when you look at who has won the cup, it has been a goalie. There hasn't been that 1A, 1B, and who knows, maybe this year we'll see the change on that because there's a couple teams that are kind of riding that situation. But Leafs have seemingly good goaltending right now. And that's scary for the league because they only have TJ Brody back, and the one thing that you and I will take credit that we were saying this before anybody else. The best thing that happened to the Leafs was their best defenseman getting injured.
Mhm.
The second that all their best defensemen got injured, they went from having like one of the worst shots against per game to one of the best in the league because the whole team stepped up.
When you look at the defensive pairings, I saw it on one of the most controversial Twitter accounts you can follow. I think it's the Oak Leaf. He posts some spicy content. A lot of really good William Nylander memes, though. I gotta credit him. Like my goodness, the amount of times that he snuck Willie into things. That's a sentence.
Phrasing, Pat,
But
phrasing.
hey, that was not on purpose. But what I was going to say was he posted something, and it was the defensive pairings um, and how well they're performing. The top performing one, I believe, was Giordano and Lilgren, which is like good for them. That's awesome. The worst performing, and it was out of 9 game sample size, which is almost the sample size you want. 10 is a better number overall. That's why everyone's the last 10. Yeah, last place was Riley Brody. They had the most goals allowed. They had the most it just didn't look good. So it'll be interesting. And I think another thing that I read and it summed it up pretty well. And again, I wish I had this handy. It was I sincerely wish that it wasn't all based on time in league or contract size, or this is what we've always done. So, because that's kind of what's going on with Riley. And in my opinion, I know it sucks that he's been hurt and, other people have stepped up because they had to. They're performing better than him. And it shouldn't be, well, he's always been there, so we're going to put him back. They should be like, hey, well, you got to earn that
Yeah.
back.
And I
I'm
think
sorry, but you got to fight for this now.
and I hope that's what they do. And I feel like that's a bit of the Dubas Keefe system is, yeah, you've got to earn that back, because if we see Marner or Nylander start to struggle, they get shoved down in the lines.
Yeah.
And we've seen that in years past. Obviously, you're not going to do that to Marner right now when he is, 23 games in a row with a point, I believe is what he's sitting at right now, 23 or 22. So you don't touch that. Like the Leafs right now, they're honestly the hottest team in the league. They are in. Just think back to the first, say, by week 3 of the season, we were talking about this team has got to do some major trades to fix problems.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, they've got Jordy Ben and Victor Mete waiting in the wings. That is not good. And then meanwhile, Jordy Ben ended up being like their best defenseman until he got injured. Mete stepped in and been just a solid player for them. So it's
the one that's been like, oh, okay, has been Connor friggin' Timmins. Remember how I said I always liked him? I thought that I wanted Colorado to fight for him back. I sincerely wish that they went for him when with Byram out. I feel like that would be a really solid fit at this point. But my goodness, he has shown that he's just like, I will play for you. I am healthy now. Let me show you how good I am, because he's been injured so much. So I think he's finally healthy. And it's showing. Oh my goodness. But one thing I wanted to bring up quickly though. You mentioned Marner. He's on 23.
Yep.
I think it's wildly interesting that Jason Robertson, who was also chasing some pretty big point streak numbers, he has 2 points in his last 5 games.
Ever since
Since playing the Leafs and breaking his streak, he went 0, 1 assist, 0, 1 assist.
Well, Dallas hasn't done too hot. They beat the Devils last night. So if the team's not doing, it's just when Marner's point streak ends, you'll probably see him go a couple games without getting something. And then it'll start back. Whoops, sorry about that. It'll start back up, but it's just the way it goes.
It's normal. I'm not saying anything that it he's garbage now. Throw him in the trash. He's done. No, that's a normal regression. He was playing out of his mind, and he's probably tired.
I mean, he's still within 3 goals of Connor McDavid at this point.
Yeah. What's really interesting is how quietly Nikita Kucherov has just put up 42 points this season.
Well, that's what happens when you have the second most assists in the league, because, by the way, Connor McDavid is also leading in assists with 33.
The fact that he's at 59 points and it's not even Christmas is dumb. That is stupid.
And his teammate is at 51.
Okay, cool. You just play your own version of hockey and somehow still lose. But
we said Campbell was the wrong person to go after, and Leaf fans were like, he's so good. And we're like,
I knew he.
I want to see him. I want to see him play. That's the thing. We want to see him succeed.
I said last year that I didn't trust Campbell's numbers because he had not played a full 82 game season as a starter. And sure enough, it's starting to show. And I'm again, I would love to see him succeed. Like you just said, I don't hold ill will, but I was just like, he's a backup goaltender. Do not put him he'll do 1A, 1B. Fine. They'll split starts. He might be able to get through 30, maybe 40 games, but no, no. So I mentioned this to you earlier. I found something pretty interesting on Instagram, and it is the last 82 regular season games and a collection of players and their points in their last 82 games. Not the last 82 games of the season, just their last 82 games played, because obviously injuries, that kind of changes things.
Yep.
I'm going to fire off some names, and remember, so it's 82, their last 82,
Yep.
and I want you to guess quickly, just shoot from the hip, how many points you think that they have in their last 82.
Ooh.
Yes. So I am going to start backwards because I want to end on a solid one. Zuccarello,
93.
close, 92.
Oh,
Jake Gensel,
65.
96.
Oh,
Kevin Fiala,
well, based on how this is going, we'll say 98.
95.
Okay, so they're all in the 90s so far.
Yep. Kyle Connor,
104?
96.
Oh, but his is almost all goals, though, I swear to God. He just scores ridiculous amount of goals.
43 goals, 53 assists.
Wow.
Yeah. Tage Thompson. This one has been shown.
73.
No, 96
Oh,
and
okay.
82. Now this one is fun. Matthew Tkachuk.
He's got to be above 100. He's killing it so far this year. 107?
120.
Wow.
120 in 82 games.
Wow.
Jason Robertson in 82.
91?
Ooh, 99.
Gretzky.
Dahlin, Rasmus Dahlin in 82 games.
65.
71.
Oh, wow. That's
And
crazy
finally,
for a defenseman.
Yeah. And finally, 82 games, Jack Hughes.
Oh, I got to think back. He'll be above a point per game. 97?
You overshot 92.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go
Yeah.
Connor McDavid for the last one because I was going to be like, 160? I don't know.
No, but the 120 for Matt Tkachuk, that was
yeah.
the one that I was just like, hang on a second, what?
Oh, I saw something earlier this week, and he set a new Panthers record for 25 games in, ahead of Huberdeau and Pavel Bure for the most points, like 25 games into a season. And it was just we all underestimated, I think, him. It's just too bad that Florida's kind of not playing the best right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he has 39 points right now, which, that's pretty solid in how many games? 28 games. That's pretty good. Pretty good, I say, with it being 11 points over a point per game, like I'm some kind of like expert.
We're talking points, goals, and assists. There is one thing we have to touch on, and that is the guy who is currently sitting 5th in the league for goals, quietly scored his 20th goal of the season. No, I'm not talking Bo Horvat, who the Canucks have basically said he's going to be traded. Alex Ovechkin scores goal 798, 799, and goal 800. He hat-tricked to goal 800. I sent you this one earlier today, and I wish I had because it is the craziest stat. I got to read it here. Ovechkin went from 700 to 800 goals in 162 games. There's only been 3 players now in history to go above or to hit 800. It took Wayne Gretzky 231 games from 700 to 800, and Gordie Howe 256. So he is on a 70-game faster pace. So he's going to pass Gordie Howe. That one's inevitable.
Yeah, like he is, unless there is some really unfortunate injury, he is gonna.
And I'm gonna pull this one up on the screen. I don't think I sent it to you. It's on Reddit right now near the top. Somebody created the goals that Ovechkin has scored against every team. Maybe if you don't look at it first, we'll play it, or do you pull it up?
I already saw that one.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
I love how they have to put the asterisks for the Winnipeg Jets and Atlanta Thrashers because he destroyed Atlanta. And like we have to remember, there was a period of time where there wasn't like.
Yeah. Well, the one that honestly it makes me kind of happy to see Colorado so low. I gotta say, like, You know when you're watching highlights at the end of the season and you're like, oh no. When you see your team get just demolished by a
I'm
goal. Like,
so used to that, Pat.
well, same. For some reason, every year somebody was just like, I'm gonna become just, I don't know, Pavel Datsuk and Pavel Bur and all the Pavels, all including Zaka, all at once. Just, I know, right? And we're just gonna make everybody look really, really stupid on the Colorado Avalanche. That is just, so it was good to see that they weren't that high on the list.
Honestly, to me, the craziest part is Columbus only 21 and Boston 28. Detroit, I think they would still technically be in the West Coast for some of his career, so there's a
Mhm.
lot less, but like it just goes to show he just absolutely has eaten the Atlantic Metro and whatever it was called before alive. Like you got to feel bad for St. Louis because he has destroyed them as a West Coast team as well. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and like obviously I know that they haven't played Colorado that much. I know that. So obviously his numbers are going to be lower. But at the same time, you look at Minnesota, and, there's 17 goals there. So, makes me feel better. It's 17, right? I just remembered that one because out of spite.
Minnesota, yeah, 17. So, Ovi's only played 23 games against the Avs. The fact that he has 10 goals is ridiculous.
Poo. I don't like that. Why'd you do that? Why?
Same amount
What do
against
you
the Coyotes. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Okay,
Okay, I was just like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like watching you do things. The most riveting podcast. Watch Bryan search things up.
some of these are just ridiculous. Like he is at a .5 goal per game against Columbus, and then just because we'll look at Tampa because he scored 50 against them. He has 50 goals in 77 games.
Okay, so I don't feel as bad now. Okay, good, 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 good.
What?
Yeah, he just decided he was just like Vasilevsky. You want to say you're the best goaltender in the world? Let me show you what the best scorer in the world is.
Probably the craziest stat in all of this for me is one of them's a shorthanded goal.
Why was he on the
Yeah.
penalty kill? Was
Yeah.
the whole team injured or in the box? Maybe that was the game where like the entirety of the team fought each other. Remember when like Tom Wilson slammed Panarin to the ice? Oh, I don't think he was playing that game. But even
No, I
still,
don't think he was playing that game.
I think he was injured. Yeah. Shoot. Okay. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
Anyway,
think.
like
Bench
it's
clearing brawl. That's the only reason he was out there because they're like, I don't know. I guess you're playing.
anyway, where we're kind of going with all this is that the talk of Ovi catching Gretzky, yeah, it's legit.
I still stand by my statement that I don't think he'll do it.
He can slow down his pace this year, and he still stands a good chance of it. Like that's what's crazy. He'll be number 2 no matter what, and
Mhm.
there is a chance that he becomes number 2 Thursday night or Saturday night. Honestly, I hope it's Saturday night.
What's the bar? What does
Uh,
he have to get over?
uh,
I can't remember. Because I know that Gretzky's like 896 or something like that.
801 for Gordie Howe.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, he'll pass that. If he doesn't pass that, come on.
And 894
I
for
thought-
Gretzky. So I would love for Ovi to tie it against the Stars and break it Saturday night at home against the Leafs.
When Samsonov is in net. Oh, yeah. Like, come on. It's Samsonov's first game back in Washington. Of course. Of course he's going to put it through. He's going to get another hat trick.
And unfortunately the Caps and Pens don't play for a while, so like that would be one of those cool things to see it happen against Crosby, but
Yeah. The only way that would happen would be, again, like I said, unfortunately,
bad
an
injury.
injury.
Yeah.
An injury that would knock him out for a while. So let's hope that he breaks it long before the Pens.
Russian machine never breaks for a reason, Pat.
I mean, it broke for a little bit. But I want to quickly talk. You quickly talked about the Devils. I want to quickly talk about the Avalanche. They're kind of getting healthy again, and that makes me happy because they've won 2 games in a row now. The bar is so low with how injured everybody is. But the one thing that I want to say about this team is I really like Foodie. He is playing so well. He feels like Abe Kubel in the playoffs, going into the corners, doing all the gritty work. He puts in like there's the first effort, then there's the second, there's third, the fourth, the fifth. Like he'll be falling on his knees, on his butt, passing it, like doing whatever he can to get the puck moving. He's gonna score. I can't believe he hasn't. If you've seen any of the games or caught any clips or watched the Don't Tell Me the Scores that we watch every day, he is doing so much work out there. He is working on the ice, and yeah, I hope that he earns a fourth line spot at least. I think that he'll be a fantastic player as long as he keeps that work ethic up. And once McKinnon comes back and really starts grilling him, I feel like, because I feel one of the reasons why Makar is so good is because of McKinnon's work ethic to push other players. I feel that Foodie wants to be there and he's trying to prove it, and I think he just needs some work on finishing. And if there's a person that can help him, I feel like it could be McKinnon once he's healthy.
Well, and don't look now, but the Avs are officially back in a playoff spot. So as long like you guys, all you have to do, it's the same thing we said last year when you had your injury struggles, was just stay afloat, because you'll get there. And at this rate, like as long as the Avs can get some separation, then they don't have to worry about players coming back and being not 100%.
Yeah. Well, even still, like I feel like they can let people heal probably up until I want to say All-Star break. Like coming back from it, I feel like as long as they keep playing, lose 2, win 1,
Yeah.
lose 3, win 2. I know it's not the greatest record, but if they come back healthy after the All-Star break, then it'll be like win 12, lose 1.
As long
They've
as you
done
don't
it
pull a
before.
Buffalo.
Yeah, but
Win
they've done it
10, lose
before.
13.
Okay, but come on. Come on. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. It's tough to say again with the apathy that I have of it from winning a cup, which is such a wonderful privilege that the world that I'm living in right now. It just doesn't bother me. If they don't make it, they don't make it. It's injuries suck, and it's been such a tough year. It's just like, well, it's not because they're not skilled. They're just got really friggin' hurt.
You'll
Oh
make it
well,
in.
that happened.
That I guarantee you. Like you guys will make it into the playoffs. Um, it's the only thing that might cause a bit of a wrinkle is Winnipeg having a resurgence this year, because
Yeah.
everybody thought that it was going to be Dallas, Colorado, St. Louis in whatever
I'm glad
order as
it's
one,
not
two,
St.
three.
Louis.
But you've also got Winnipeg, who's up there now, and Nashville. Like St. Louis was
Oof.
one of the worst teams in the league. Mind you, they're back to a bad record, so that's kind of helping everybody out west right now. But
I want to ask you your thoughts. So, um, just about a couple days ago, Nashville put Tolvanen in.
yes,
They were a first round draft pick for the Nashville Predators, and he kept coming up, going down, coming up, going down for years. I think it was about 6 years ago he was drafted into the league, and they put him on waivers, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to be scooped," and sure enough, he was, and he was picked up by Seattle. Do you think that he is going to find his game in Seattle?
that's interesting because everything that I've heard, and I believe it was Friedman or Merrick that I heard talking about this, was that they basically didn't want to waive somebody who was waiver eligible that is playing well, instead of being like, well, he's not playing. So they're supporting the team, and it sucks for
Yep.
him, but he's off to Seattle. He's going to have to fight for a spot there.
Mhm.
He is very one-dimensional. He scores the puck. He does that well. But for those that don't know him, he's like JT Miller, except he might skate a little bit more.
That's
So,
fair.
and
Okay.
who knows? Maybe it's one of those moves that it will force some competition between him and Shane Wright after the World Juniors if they want to try and get Shane Wright back in, being like, this is the guy you have to catch and get ahead of.
Hmm.
So it never hurts to have the extra player. Maybe he's kind of coming in as that, like, well, we don't have Shane Wright now to call up and play, so
Because the World Juniors,
sit up in the press box and we'll call you if we need you. But he was gonna get it's he was gonna get claimed. He's not. Unfortunately, he's not going to be like this crazy. Oh my God, I can't believe it's. I don't see that happening. But hey, I'd love to be proved wrong. I just don't see it.
I'm hopeful that he is the beneficiary of change is good. Good change of scenery is something that'll help him. I kind of look at that like Jesse Puljujärvi. I hope that I hope he's traded. It's going to be hard to offload him, but I hope he's traded because I think that he needs to get away from superstars. And I think that that was a little bit of Tolvanen as well, is that you've got a superstar, Philip Forsberg, and obviously Roman Yossi. Like, you've got these really, really talented players. And that's a little like, and when I say talented, it's more than just like your basic players. Like, nothing against but like the B level players. But like Forsberg, he's an A level in my opinion. He's a fantastic hockey player. Roman Yossi obviously is an A plus player,
Yep.
and to have that sort of holy crap, these are the people I'm with, that can get into your head. Whereas Seattle, don't think they have an A player.
No, they're
They will.
Seattle is they basically the way they're built right now reminds me of Vegas year one. It's the
Mhm.
island of misfit toys, except this like they've had a chance to kind of mesh and grow. And Grubauer's actually not playing like the worst goaltender in the league, who wasn't playing for the New Jersey Devils.
Mhm.
So like the only thing is when you bring it up Puljujärvi, as much as it's McDavid and Draisaitl, I also think he doesn't like the Canadian media because Edmonton
True.
especially is so bad. Like everybody's like Toronto's got the worst market. Have you seen the Edmonton writers and the stuff that they say? Oh my god.
They're just there needs to be an overhaul of Canadian media. They need to do an audit and be like, okay, Steve Simmons, first of all, you get fired into the sun. Just
The Sun
rid
would
the earth.
reject him.
Oh my God, they'd be like, ooh, you're too racist for this. Um, come on, the Wayne Simmons comments, plain and simple, and he didn't apologize. He went
Yeah,
to look
that's
for
true.
excuses. Screw that man. He doesn't deserve to be even called media. He's trash. Anyway, they need to be fully overhauled, especially in Edmonton and Toronto. Calgary, they don't make too many waves there. Vancouver is again nothing really too crazy. Ottawa needs to find some. Uh,
Ottawa's like,
so
well, not Ottawa. The NHL apparently, Bettman's like, whichever team wins, you better include Ryan Reynolds. So I mean,
yeah, no kidding. But yes, it's the media is that's the reason why there's the no trade clauses. That's why players don't want to come and play in Canada, because it's not a microscope that they're playing under. It's the coals that they have to walk across every single time they go on the ice. They are just under constant scrutiny. Whereas you look at the other teams, yeah, there's going to be questionable, like people questioning skills and kind of pushing people, but not to this level. You look at the Rangers, there's nothing really even close to this. It's
and
bad.
and you've got to be like, not even Henrik Lundqvist, who was the most like famous Ranger we've seen in forever. He probably barely got recognized on the streets. Like he
How
might the
could
odd
wait,
time because
hang
he's a
on.
very handsome man,
I was gonna say he would at
but
least
like
get stopped.
it's New York. There's bigger fish in the city. You've got the Yankees there. You've got everything else going on. So like
Yeah.
Toronto, people know who the Marlies players are if they run into them. It's like, come on.
Yeah. It's it's a very different world, unfortunately, for those players. But um I also want to point out Karel Vamelka is Karel Vamelkaing and just proving that his expected goals, that's really the big number that everybody keeps kind of when they talk about him in the limelight, his expected goals for, he is playing out of his mind better than what they were expected. I think they was at like 4 or 5 per game, and he's putting up like 2 or 3, and that's a massive
He's getting more
difference.
expensive for Buffalo to try and get.
Yeah, but you know what? Buffalo needs a goalie, and I'm looking at that. I don't know. Labushkin, why not? Him and Labushkin.
Do you have anything else you want to touch on, or do you want to hop into games of the week?
Oh, I've got my DJ air horn at the ready. Let's talk about some games of the week with our janky intro.
I really have to fix that.
What? You don't like the DJ air horn? Come on.
No, I can do the DJ air horn. We'll just make it sound. Oh, yeah, we'll figure it out in the future.
You will figure it out.
We both kind of whiffed this week, if we're being honest.
There was far better games. We didn't pick them.
No, you picked a shutout for Minnesota, which well done.
Ugh,
and
gross.
I think my game, what was it, 2-1? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was. So you had Monday, December 12th, Dallas versus Pittsburgh, 2-1 Pittsburgh. Woohoo! It's old school Dallas is what that felt like.
Yeah.
And then I had Minnesota and Vancouver, which is a Saturday at 10 p.m. game, and that was 3-0 Minnesota. I thought I was going to be just a blowout, and it turned out that it was just a bore out. So neat. Not much. I have nothing to add for that game. I looked at the highlights and I was just like, oh, is this only 3 goals? Is that the whole highlight package? Cool. Like
they didn't want to just keep showing JT Miller messing up. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
I'll start for this week just because we know we're not on the same day because we do talk at least about what day it is before we do this. Sunday. So we have 5 games on Sunday. Can you guess what it is? It should be pretty obvious.
I think it might be the one that I was looking at earlier, but I might be wrong. So I was going to say Winnipeg versus Seattle.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like a good game. I think that'll be an awesome game.
It's honestly the best game of the day, just the way the two teams are playing. Like, you've heard us talk about the Kraken already. And Winnipeg, like, if you want to see a team that is going to put up a ridiculous amount of goals, the Jets are good at that. And we've seen the Kraken put up 9 and let in 8. Yeah. So, fingers crossed I pick another big winner here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I had that one written down and then I deleted it because like I told you, I thought to myself, I shouldn't just go with the one that I saw right away on Sunday. I'm going to look throughout the rest of the week. So I went to Monday. Big jump there. I went to Monday, December 19th at 10 p.m. because I'm that jerk. And it is Buffalo versus Vegas for 2 reasons. One, it is obviously Eichel against his old team, which means he's going to score so many goals.
And this one's in Vegas. So this is the Tuck return.
So this is the Tuck return. So he is re-tucking, but you like the hand motion, the scoop for a tuck? For those that don't know what a tuck is, no, I'm not going to get into it because it will get us in trouble.
Just watch Drag Race.
There you go. They explain there's duct tape involved. Anyways, I think it'll be a really good game because they kind of humiliated Buffalo last time at home, and Eichel did that sort of cheeky salute to them. I think Tage Thompson is going to come in and be like, I'm going to kill everyone, and I'm going to put up 6 goals in one game.
That's the thing with Buffalo right now, though, is you just don't know what team is going to show up. They are, like, if the Sabres from the early season shows up, you don't stand a chance. But, I guess even if they do, they'll still let in umpteen dozen goals because their goaltenders are not very good. They should be calling Arizona every day.
Anderson, well, they're going to be in the desert. Anderson had his first shutout since I think it was 2019. So good for him. Honestly, that's kind of awesome. Like he's 42,000 years old, but it's good for him for doing that. But no, I think this will be a spicy game.
Yeah, in a 6-0 win where Tage Thompson scored twice.
Yeah, so that's huge. But
Oh
no,
my God, I'm just looking. Sorry. They scored 6 in the third. All their goals came in the third.
Yeah, we didn't choose that one.
Oh my God.
I'm going now with the safe bet of Buffalo.
Every week. Buffalo.
There is a 70% chance that game is going to be some kind of poop show. And I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen because they're going to be mad about what happened last time. This is their chance for redemption. And they're feeling good right now, and Tage is feeling it. So
wow, and Vegas recently won a game 6-5 against Winnipeg. So
I don't know. All signs points to it's either going to be just a mess or somehow it's going to be 1-0.
Like the Devils Avs game earlier this year.
Exactly. It's just going to be two teams that you're like, I guess, all right, cool. That was uninspiring, but sure.
Well, I got nothing to add. I'm sniffling a lot more and more as we keep talking here, so I apologize to everybody.
Yeah, nobody likes to hear snorking. Come on, man.
I've muted my mic. You hear it?
Okay.
Pat hears it. I mute my mic so nobody else can hear it.
Thank you so much for making sure that I can still hear that lovely, lovely nasal decongestion.
Well, if I mute everything, then the issue is it may not turn back on. So
that's fair.
Anything to add, Pat, before I hit the stop button?
Not a ton, but we're getting close to the end of the holiday season, so hopefully other people have shopped. I haven't.
I haven't. My wife has.
That's what other things are for. But not only like for me, mine begins this weekend. I have multiple birthdays this weekend, and on Sunday it is the first night of Hanukkah. So for those that are celebrating Hanukkah, enjoy it. It's always fun. I'm really new to it. My wife is Jewish, and it's fascinating to jump into new traditions and see that stuff. So for those celebrating a wonderful and happy Hanukkah to all of those that observe it, and we should be back next week before Christmas, and screw that. I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we can do that then. I'm on morning show on that the next day, but we can still do it. Okay.
We'll find a time.
All right. Say bye, Pat.
Bye, Pat.